Hello everyone! I had a couple of requests already to show a game by Maia Chiburdanidze. Maia was the 7th Women's World Chess Champion, and until 2010 she was the youngest woman to ever hold this title, until it was broken in 2010 by Ho Yifan. And Maia is the second woman ever to achieve the title of Grandmaster after Nona Gaprindashvili. This game was played in 1983, it was played in Dortmund, and Maia has the white pieces against Nigel Short. Maia's style is very solid, but also very aggressive, as you'll see in this game. And although it's not the most precise game, her style is complicated enough to confuse a player of Nigel's strength. So Maia plays knight to c3, the Van Geet opening. We have d5 and e4, transposing into the close Scandinavian. D captures on e4, knight captures on e4, and now knight to f6. Knight captures on f6, and we have g captures on f6, and d4. c6 by Nigel, and this is not the best move to be played in this position. This move will give Nigel problems later on. A move like e5 was preferred here. Bishop to e2, now queen to c7, knight to f3, and the bishop to g4. Maia plays c4 and e6 by Nigel. Maia castles, we have knight to d7 and d5. It's very interesting that Maia isn't afraid of the open g file, as her style is very aggressive, so she's not really bothered by this. And in this position, well, a move like queen to c2 or maybe h3 would be considered by many players. But she goes for the aggressive and straightforward d5. We have queenside castle by Nigel, and now probably bishop to e3 would give Maia sufficient game, as this does leave white with some advantage. It's a simple developmental move, it comes into the game with a tempo, but instead bishop to e3, she goes for the more straightforward d captures on e6. And this is, well, this is a mistake. It allows Nigel to play knight to e5, opening up a discovered attack from the rook to the queen, and well, also this knight is threatening all sorts of jumps from here. Maia defends this with knight to d2, now opening up an attack to this bishop on g4 twice, and this is, well, a critical moment in the game. Nigel should definitely have played h5, and this locks this bishop in on g4 beautifully. A move like bishop captures on g4, allowing h captures on g4, and white is lost here. The open h file, the queen eyeing in on the h2, this knight is ready to jump into the game, the bishop is ready to jump into d6, into c5. This would be terrible for white. So after this h5 move, there's really no way to get this bishop out of g4, and it's an extremely strong piece there. You could weaken your position further with a move like f3 or h3, although on h3 this threat might even be, disregarded, as the bishop might even be sacrificed. But after this knight to d2 move, Nigel got a little bit materialistic. He didn't go for h5, he played bishop captures on e6. Getting the bishop away from this strong g4 square and allowing Maia to consolidate. We have queen to a4. Maia immediately jumps into the attack, now eyeing this a7 pawn with the queen. But now Nigel doesn't really care about the a7 pawn. He plays rook to g8. And, well, capturing the a7 pawn is something of a personal preference. If you capture the a7 pawn, you're allowing bishop to h3. The threat is rook captures on g2. And here a move like g3 would have to be played, and, well, you lose the exchange here. Bishop captures on f1 and knight captures on f1. And, well, white is down the exchange, and he did open up the king's position a little bit, but you don't have any real resources to attack the black king. So this could go either way, although black is definitely better here. So after rook to g8, Maia plays knight to e4. With the ideas of knight to f6, and also now bishop to h3 isn't really possible because knight can simply defend this with knight to g3. We have bishop captures on c4 by Nigel, and Maia's position is actually pretty bad here. Nigel's idea is pretty simple. If you capture the bishop, for example, bishop captures on c4, you lose immediately to knight to f3 check. The g2 pawn is pinned after king to h1, queen captures on h2, this is checkmate. So after bishop to c4, it's definitely a difficult position for Maia, but she finds a way to complicate things. She plays bishop to h5, a pretty weird move. I mean, the king is all the way on c8. What is bishop to h5? But she's definitely allowing Nigel to capture the rook on f1. This is the best move, and Nigel does play it. So bishop captures on f1. We have king captures on f1, and okay, a little plus to this being down the exchange is that the king is no longer on g1, so knight to f3 is no longer any significant threat. Knight to d3 by Nigel, and we have queen captures on a7. Queen to e5, great move by Nigel, now attacking the knight, also preparing to get the bishop into the game. But here Maia plays bishop to e3, totally disregarding the fact that Nigel just attacked her knight. And this is definitely the second critical moment of the game. The best move for Nigel here is bishop to e7. Nigel should have played this. This is connecting the rooks. The bishop is adding more protection to the rook on d8, and the king has a nice escape route with king to d7 and king to e8 if needed. But instead, after bishop to e3, Nigel said, you don't really have anything here, and he captured the knight. And this was a mistake. Queen captures on e4 was played by Nigel. And here comes queen to a8 with check. King to c7, and now bishop to b6 with check, sacrificing another piece. So king captures on b6, and now queen captures on d8 with check. The king goes to c5, and here we have b4 with check. King captures on b4 was played, and we have bishop to f3. And this is the last critical moment of the game. Nigel should have played queen to c4, and the game goes on. Black can play this. But Nigel played queen to e5, and well, from here there is no turning back. Rook to b1 check. Nigel defends with knight to b2. We have queen to d2 with check, king to a3, and here is the problem. Rook captures on b2. And I'm sure Nigel was very sad when he saw this, because capturing the rook with the queen leads to queen to a5 with checkmate. So after rook to b2, Nigel tried b5. Rook to b3 check, king to a4, and here bishop to d1. In this position, Nigel Short resigned the game, as well, this rook is threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries. He doesn't even have to win the queen. For example, if a move like b4 is played, simply rook captures on b4, and after a move like king to a5, rook to b2 check, king has to go to a6, bishop to e2 check, king a7. Now, queen to d7 check, you can give up the queen, but there's really no point to this. King to a8, and now queen to b7 checkmate. This is one nice king walk from e8 all the way to a3, and then all the way to a8. So a very nice king walk by Nigel Short. After this bishop to bishop to b1 move, where was it? Yeah, bishop to d1. Nigel resigned the game, and a brilliant game, but also a weird game was played. So there you have it. I do hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not the most precise game, but it's definitely complicated enough to to keep a guy like Nigel off track. As usual, you can check two of my previous videos here. I would like to thank Anthony Smith for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon.